A deep scowl on the face is contrary to nature, and when it becomes habitual, expressiveness begins to die or is even finally extinguished beyond rekindling. Try to attend to this very point, that this is something against reason. In the field of moral behavior, if even the consciousness of doing wrong is lost, what reason is there left for living? All that you will see will in a moment be changed by the nature which governs the whole. It will create other things out of this material, and then again others out of that, so that the world is always young. When someone does you some wrong, you should consider immediately what judgment of good or evil led him to wrong you. When you see this, you will pity him, and not feel surprise or anger. You yourself either will share this good view. You yourself either still share his view of good or something like it, in which case you should understand and forgive. If, on the other hand, you no longer judge such things as good or evil, it will be the easier for you to be patient with the unsighted. Do not dream of possession of what you do not have. Rather reflect on the greatest blessings in what you do have, and on their account remind yourself of how much they would have been missed if they were not here. But at the same time, you must be careful not to let your pleasure in them habituate you to dependency, to avoid distress if they are sometimes absent. Withdraw into yourself. It is in the nature of the rational, directing mind to be self-content with acting rightly and the calm it thereby enjoys. Erase the print of imagination. Stop the puppet strings of impulse. Define the present moment of time. Recognize what happens to you or to another. Analyze and divide the event into the casual and the material. Think of your final hour. Leave the wrong done by another where it started. Stretch your thought to parallel what is being said. Let your mind get inside what is happening and who is doing it. Take your joy in simplicity, in integrity, in indifference to all that lies between virtue and vice. Love mankind, follow God. Democritus says, all else is subject to the law of convention. Only the elements are absolute and real. But enough for you to remember that all is subject to law. Precepts reduced to very few. On death, either dispersal if we are atoms, or if we are a unity, extinction, or a change of home. On pain, unbearable pain carries us off. Chronic pain can be borne. The mind preserves its own serenity by withdrawal, and the directing reason is not impaired by pain. It is for the parts injured by the pain to protest if they can. On fame, look at their minds, the nature of their thought, and what they seek or avoid, and see how, just as drifting sands constantly overlay the previous sand, so in our lives that we once did is very quickly covered over by subsequent layers. So, to a man endowed with noble intelligence and a vision of all time and all being, do you think that his human life will seem of great importance? Impossible, he said. So such a man will not think there is anything fearful in death either. Certainly not. A king's lot to do good and be damned. It is shameful that the face should be so obedient, shaping and ordering this expression as the mind dictates, when the mind cannot impose its own shape and order on itself. Mere things, brute facts, should not provoke your range. They have no mind to care. May you give joy to the immortal gods, and joy to us. Ripe ears of corn are reaped, and so our lives. One stands, another falls. If I and my 2 sons are now no more, the gods' concern, this too will have its cause. For good and right stand on my side. Don't join in mourning or in ecstasy. But I could give this man a proper answer. I would say, you are mistaken, my friend, if you think that a man of any worth at all should take into account the risk of life or death, and not have his sole consideration in my action, whether he is doing right or wrong, the act of good man or bad. The truth of the matter, my fellow Athenians, is this: whatever position a man has taken up in his own best judgment, or is assigned by his commander, there, it seems to me, he should stay and face the danger, giving no thought to death or anything else before dishonor. But, my dear fellow, consider it possible that nobility and virtue are something other than saving one's life or having it saved. Could it not be that any one who is truly a man should dismiss any concern for a particular length of life, and not simply live for the sake of living? Rather, he should live all this to God, and believe that the womenfolk say that no one ever escapes the day of his fate. His thought should be on the further question, how best to live his life in the time he has to be alive. Observe the movement of the stars as if you were running their courses with them, and let your mind constantly dwell on the changes of the elements into each other. Such imaginings wash away the filth of life on the ground. Further, when your talk is about mankind, view earthly things as if looking down on them from some point high above. Flocks, armies, farms, weddings, divorces, births, deaths, the hubbub of the law courts, desert places, various foreign nations, festivals, funerals, markets, all the medley of the world and the ordered conjunction of opposites. Look back over the past, all those many changes of dynasties, and you can foresee the future too. It will be completely alike, incapable of deviating from the rhythm of the present. So for the study of human life, 40 years are as good as 10,000. What more will you see? Again, what is born of earth goes back to earth, but the growth from heavenly seed returns whence it came to heaven. Or else this, a dissolution of the nexus of atoms and seamless molecules likewise dispersed. Or else this, a dissolution of the nexus of atoms and senseless molecules likewise dispersed. Again, with special food or drink, or sorcery, seeking a channel from the stream of death. The wind that blows from God we must endure, and labour uncomplainingly. Better at throwing his man, but not more public spirited, or more decent, or more disciplined to circumstance, or more tolerant of neighbours' faults. Where task can be accomplished in accordance with the reason which gods and men share, there is nothing to be afraid of, because where there is possibility of benefit from any action which moves along the proper path, following our own human constitution, there should be no lurking fear of any harm.